Serana moved like smoke. The alleyway was silent, shadows clinging to the brick like forgotten memories. She crouched low behind a rusted dumpster, her breath still, her form barely there. A gift from the elder blood, allowing her to become the dark itself. Then it happened. A ripple in the air, like a wound torn through fabric. From nothing, a slit opened, jagged, glowing with a sickly pale light. It tore through reality with a faint hiss, and from it emerged something wrong. Tall, skeletal, robed in faded black that fluttered despite the still air. Its bones creaked, not with age, but with unnatural tension, like they were being held together by something that wasn't supposed to exist. The creature wasn't alive, not truly, but it lived in death, and it fed on it. Its empty eye sockets scanned the street. No heartbeat, no soul of its own, only hunger. Then it moved. Across the sidewalk, a man walked briskly, coffee in hand, eyes locked to his phone, unaware of the horror just feet away. The creature's hand shot forward, phasing through the man's chest. The man gasped, froze, and without a sound was pulled into the slit. It closed behind them like it had never been. Serana blinked once. She had seen enough. But before she moved, she crouched low and etched a symbol into the ground with the tip of her dagger, a mark known only to the elders. It was a warning, a signal, a promise. Then she moved, melting from shadow to shadow, and slipped through the fading tear in reality just before it sealed shut. The world beyond was quiet, vast, empty, dead, yet humming with a low resonance that made her skin crawl. The Ghostrealm she entered was not like Vero's, though it bore similarities. Thick grey mist, curling along an endless expanse of blackened ground. Towering monoliths, crumbled and leaning at impossible angles, all soaked in sorrow. A constant wind whispered the names of the forgotten, and in the distance she saw him, the creature, dragging the man across the ground like a sack of meat. The man groaned, half-conscious, his soul flickering faintly. The creature raised both arms and began a binding ritual. Thin strands of energy wrapped around the man like threads, locking his soul in place, draining it slowly, deliberately, feeding it into the realm itself. The air pulsed as the creature hissed in delight. "The master hungers," it whispered in a voice like wind through bone. "He will be pleased I have brought you to him." Hidden in shadow form, Serana watched. Her heart did not race, her breath did not quicken. She was trained for this, born for it. But still, this was no mere collector. This creature served something greater. She narrowed her eyes, her voice only in thought. So, this one's just a stooge, a servant. There must be more. She turned her gaze deeper into the mist, where ancient structures and towers loomed. I must go deeper. I need to know what's hiding behind this puppet, and find the master before he finds me. And with that, she vanished once more, into the silence of the mist. Serana moved like living silence, slipping from shadow to shadow with unnatural grace, the gift of her elder blood wrapping her in darkness. She was the unseen, the untouchable. She had served in death's name for centuries, her form fused to the void between light and nothing. The disturbance that brought her here was unlike anything she had ever felt. Not noise, not chaos, but absence, a yawning emptiness that whispered across the ether. She had argued with Eldur before coming. He warned her not to go alone. You're reckless, he had said, arms folded, face carved from ancient pain. "And you're too slow," she'd snapped back. "I move between moments, Eldur. You'd only get in my way." Despite their clash, their bond ran deep, forged through centuries of battle, betrayal, and an affection that lingered in the space between loyalty and love, if such a thing could exist between elders. Now, in the folds of this forbidden realm, Serana moved faster than the eye could track, flitting across shattered landscapes, phasing through broken spires and mists that whispered secrets too old to be named. Then she saw it, a town, or perhaps a small city, nestled in the ghost fog. Its buildings shimmered like illusions, their structures not built from stone or wood, but from essence, the essence of the living. The walls pulsed faintly, the streets hummed with sorrow. This place was built on stolen souls. Serana stopped, eyes narrowing. "How many have they taken?" she whispered. This wasn't a ghost realm, it was a harvest site. She turned to retreat. "I need to get back to Eldur. This is too much for me alone." But then it appeared. Blocking her path stood a tall figure, skeletal, robed in tattered veils of shadow and smoke, a man in shape, but not in life. His voice was dry thunder. "An elder. In my realm. How interesting." Serana tensed. "Did you truly think I would not sense you?" the creature continued. "Though it is an honor, you are worthless to me. You have no soul. Someone has already claimed it." He tilted his head, smiling like death with teeth. "But I will enjoy destroying you." Serana dropped into shadow. In an instant, she surged forward, faster than any mortal or spirit could perceive. But he was faster. Before she could strike, ethereal chains shot from the ground and sky, wrapping her wrists, ankles, pinning her in place. They glowed with cursed light, bound not by metal, but by sorrow. Serana grinned, her fangs flashing. "You underestimate me." With a scream of pure rage, she shattered the chains with a violent surge of shadow energy. Her form twisted, then launched forward, a wraith of darkness hurtling towards the skeletal figure. Immediately, spirits rose, dozens of them, their faces twisted in despair and obedience. They formed a shield wall in front of their master, howling in torment. Serana sneered. "You look a little sad here," she said. "Let me help." Her shadow passed through the spirits like death's blade. They screamed, not from pain, but from release. Their forms crumbled into ash and vanished into the air. She reformed mid-air, standing tall, crackling with darkness. "Like you said," she said softly, "I'm soulless, just the evil that lives in the shadows." She raised her arms, power surging. "And shadows disrupt your ghosts." Confidence surged through her. This thing, whatever it was, could be beaten. She prepared to strike, but then it smiled. "Enough," it said, voice calm, cold, final. Serana blinked, and her world went black. The alleyway was cold and silent, save for the quiet breath of a lone figure wrapped in a black coat, his long, silver hair moving slightly in the breeze. Eldur stood at the edge of a fading shadow, staring down at the last place he had sensed her, Serana. He sniffed the air, touched the wall, then looked to the cracked concrete at his feet. Etched in the stone, faint but unmistakable, was a symbol. Her symbol. He crouched low, tracing it with a clawed finger. The lines pulsed faintly under his touch, still charged with her energy. "She was here," he muttered, "and this is where she crossed over." He stood slowly, fists clenched. "Serana, what have you gotten yourself into?" A quiet moment passed. Then, "Looks like you're in a bit of a pickle." Eldur spun around, instincts flaring, ready to strike, but he hadn't sensed the man approach. That alone unsettled him. Standing at the alley's edge, with the soft hum of necrotic energy curling around his boots, was Stephen Lestat. Calm, composed, dangerous. Eldur narrowed his eyes. "You've lost a friend," Lestat said casually. "With no way of getting her back. That's unfortunate." Eldur's voice was cold. "How do you know this?" Lestat gave a small shrug. "The dead are everywhere, Eldur. They see, they whisper, and I happen to listen." He stepped forward, boots tapping against the damp pavement. "So," he continued, "you're stuck. She's gone into a Ghostrealm, and you have no way to follow." Eldur growled low, fangs just beginning to show. "And what if I told you," Lestat said, pausing just a few feet away, "that I could open it for you?" "I know who you are," Eldur snarled. "You serve death. You're no ally of ours. I could end you right here." Lestat chuckled. "I don't doubt your power. Truly. But I've got things to do, and this simply isn't my time." He turned, glancing at the symbol on the ground. And really, what are friends, if not temporary alliances forged by convenience? He looked back. "The enemy of your enemy and all that," Eldur glared. "And what makes you think I'd trust you? You could just leave me in that realm the moment you get what you want." Lestat's eyes gleamed with calm amusement. "You don't," he said plainly. "But if you don't come, you'll never get her back." He raised his hand, fingers slicing through the air with practiced ease. The fabric of reality tore like silk, revealing a thin, glowing rift, pulsing with pale light and ghostly wind. Without another word, Lestat stepped through. Eldur stood there a moment, fangs still bared, jaw tight. Every instinct screamed not to follow, but Serana was in there. She mattered more than anything. With a growl of frustration, Eldur tightened his coat, stepped forward, and vanished into the Ghostrealm beyond. Eldur stepped through the rift and into silence. The Ghostrealm stretched out before him like a void pulled from forgotten nightmares. A vast, colourless expanse of cracked ground and swirling, oppressive mist. There was no sun, no moon, no sky, just layers of shadow and fog stretching into eternity. He scanned the haze, no sign of Lestat, but he could feel him. The air shimmered faintly with necrotic residue, the mark of a man who had walked hand in hand with death for too long. Eldur was one of the few who remembered what came before the reset, before this fractured reflection of existence. And he remembered Stephen Lestat. He remembered what Lestat had done. He didn't trust him, not even a little, but he had no choice. From the mist, a voice echoed, "Come on then, Eldur. We've got work to do. No time to hang around admiring the scenery." Eldur narrowed his eyes and disappeared into the shadows. A heartbeat later, he reappeared directly in front of Lestat, who stood smugly with arms folded. Eldur's voice was low, sharp. "Let me tell you something, Lestat. At the first sign of betrayal, I will kill you." Lestat raised an eyebrow, unbothered. "Oh, come. We've got bigger fish to fry and all that. No time to dawdle in threats." He turned and walked a few steps, then stopped. His tone changed slightly. Not casual, but focused. "We're going to need more." He raised both hands to the air. The ground groaned beneath them. Cracks spread in jagged lines, and then movement. Rotting hands burst through the soil, then arms, then whole bodies. Twisted, sunken corpses with blank, weary eyes. Dozens, then more. The lost souls of the realm. Lestat's voice lowered as he watched them rise. "There are so many of them, trapped in this cursed place, forgotten, abused, forced to sustain parasites." His expression softened, not with weakness, but purpose. "I must free them. The dead do not deserve this." Eldur turned to him, surprised. For just a moment, in Lestat's voice, he heard something he didn't expect. Compassion. This man cared. Lestat raised more. The dead formed ranks behind him, silent and ready, still souls, but guided by one who had earned their trust. Then Lestat turned. "Unfortunately," he said, "these brave souls won't last long against the spirits that haunt this place. But you, Eldur, your connection to the shadows, that might be just the thing to disrupt them." Eldur smirked. "So that's why you wanted to help me?" Lestat grinned. "Oh, of course. You think I'm here out of pity? Please, we both benefit. As much as I detest your parasitic nature." Eldur's eyes flared red. "And you surely detest my relationship with death," Lestat continued. "We can aid one another, for now." Eldur's lips curled. "For now." And so, the pair, the necromancer and the vampire elder, stood at the head of an undead army, two forces bound by necessity and nothing more. In the distance, cloaked in swirling fog and sorrow, the ghostly city loomed, its towers rising like gravestones against the sky. Together, they began to march. The air thickened with sorrow, the mist turned in a sickly grey as the towering ghostly city loomed in the distance. Then it shifted. Reality bent, as if space itself recoiled in fear, and from the mist, the tall, skeletal figure emerged once more. Its presence sucked the warmth from the air, the creature's eyes, empty, burning pits of unnatural hunger, locked on the pair standing at the head of a silent, undead legion. It raised a long, bony hand. "You dare raise my feed?" the creature growled, voice like wind through crypts. "These souls were meant to sustain the realm. You will suffer for this defiance." With a single gesture, the ground behind it tore open, and from the rift came spirits of the damned. Dozens of them, shrieking, twisting in the air like serpents of sorrow. Their faces wept, screamed, and begged all at once, and they surged forward with unnatural speed. Lestat calmly turned to Eldur. "Your cue," he said with a smirk. Eldur's eyes gleamed crimson. Without a word, he stepped into his own shadow and vanished. In a flash, he reappeared in the path of the oncoming spirits, his body dissolving into darkness. As the spirits touched the shadow form, they screamed and disintegrated, their ghostly matter scattering like ash in a storm. The tall creature shrieked in fury. "Another elder in my realm!" Its voice cracked with fury. "Then I shall destroy you, as I did the other one who dared to step into this place." Eldur froze mid-motion, his face shifting from fury to pure rage. His body surged with power, an ancient force rarely seen even among his kind. Shadows writhed around him like living blades. He stepped forward to strike, but Lestat raised a hand. "Stand down, Eldur," he said. "Not yet. He's too much for you now." Eldur snarled, but paused. Lestat continued, his voice calm but sharp. "His power is of spirit, ethereal and cursed. He can tear souls apart with ease, but my warriors..." He gestured behind him at the legion of undead. "They have no souls, not here. He has no hold over them." The skeletal creature stepped back as the undead surged forward, marching as one, an unstoppable wall of rot and resolve. The creature snarled, but did not attack. "I can sense her," Lestat said suddenly, tilting his head as if listening to the wind. "She is functional, the dead whisper, and in this place, I hear everything." The creature hissed, "This is not over." And with a flick of his long fingers, he vanished into the fog, like smoke consumed by fire. Silence returned. Eldur stepped towards Lestat, eyes burning. "Where is she?" Lestat turned slowly and pointed toward the highest towers of the ghostly city, distant but pulsing with dark energy. "There," he said. "The dead still cry from that place, and they say she exists. She's bound, but not broken. But we must move quickly. This realm drains me piece by piece." He looked over his shoulder at the undead. "My children will carve a path. But the spirits, they can destroy me. And them. You will have to deal with them. You are untouched by this place. You can disrupt them." Eldur's voice was firm. "All I care about is freeing her, and I still do not trust you." Lestat shrugged. "Oh, come now. Trust is such an overused word. Why trust when we simply need each other?" He met Eldur's eyes. "I couldn't do this without you, and you couldn't do it without me. That's not trust. It's a trade. Think of me as you will, but we cannot do this alone." Eldur gave no reply, but he didn't turn away either, and so the two unlikely allies, vampire and necromancer, marched toward the heart of the ghostly city, a swarm of undead in their wake. The dead moved with purpose and vengeance. The time for stealth is over. With an undead legion at their backs, Eldur and Stephen Lestat launch a full assault on the ghostly city, a realm built from sorrow and sustained by stolen souls. Inside, Serana's fate hangs by a thread, and ancient spirits rise to defend their twisted masters. As Lestat's undead clash with the wailing damned, and Eldur battles shadows with shadows, only one thing is certain. Death is not the end here. It's the beginning of war.